So when I tell people that the ideal human diet is a diet of solely fruits, nothing but fruit, a fruitarian diet, they always invariably tell me things like, "Oh, that's too extreme. Oh my God, it's just too extreme." Okay, let's take a step back and talk about that for a little bit. Is the fruit diet really too extreme? Well, first of all, let's establish what extreme means. Extreme means being at one end of something. Extremities, right? Our hands and our feet, they're extremities of our body. So being very far out on the side, that's what extreme means. And of course, compared to the standard diet of most people of today, eating a diet of nothing but fruits is extreme. You're out on the fringe of what is normal in today's society. But of course, just because something is normal doesn't mean that it's ideal physiologically. It's normal to drink alcohol, it's normal to smoke cigarettes, but no one would argue that those things are indeed healthy for us. So someone who never drinks alcohol and never smokes cigarettes is further out on the extreme. They're not in the norm in the middle. They're a little bit towards the extreme. And likewise, someone who's eating all fruit will definitely be towards the extreme of what is normal in today's society. But if we take a step back for a moment, I'd like to entertain you with some ideas. Let's suppose, you're out in the wild and you're hungry and you want to eat and you don't use any tools or anything like that. What foods are appealing to you in their natural state? Right, you're in your natural habitat, tropical, jungle, savanna type environment, and you're hungry. What do you eat? As is. Well, fruit is the only thing that really appeals to us in its natural state. Edible, raw, delicious, it furnishes us with everything we need, it's satisfying. Fruit is a natural choice in that situation, so nothing extreme about that. However, imagine this. Hunting an animal. Already you're doing something that's not very easy for a human to do, to hunt an animal, but eventually, let's say you manage to get it. Suppose you're using tools and spears and all these things, because it's impossible without tools to actually open up an animal. It's not possible. So you're using tools, you're hunting it, you rip open the animal, you tear out its intestines, you burn the intestines, you burn the flesh, and then you eat it. Is this not extreme? I mean, from a natural point of view, is this not extreme to do all this and to use all these tools and then burn it? Isn't that extreme? I mean, I think that's pretty extreme. How about sucking the tits of a cow? Everyone drinks milk these days, right? Like cow's milk. Perfectly normal thing from a societal standpoint, but from a natural point of view, that's pretty extreme. Sucking the tits of another species while you're an adult. Milk is for babies, and certainly cow's milk is not for humans. So isn't that pretty extreme? I think it's pretty extreme. I also think it's pretty extreme to start digging in the ground for food. We don't have a natural ability or inclination to start digging in the ground like a pig does to find roots and tubers. That's not a natural thing for us to do. You could say it's pretty extreme to start digging in the ground for food with our bare hands, pulling out these roots, and then they're not edible. So what do? Well, we have to burn them. Again, we have to burn them or boil them, but we're using the power of fire. So we're using fire to essentially destruct our food. It's a destructive process, not a constructive one. So we're damaging our food in the process, but we're trying to make something that's not edible because we can't find anything else, probably, right? There's no fruit around, so we have to do something to eat. We'll eat animals and roots and all these things. But from a natural point of view, if there was fruit available, isn't it pretty extreme to go to those lengths to get food, digging the ground, burning it, ripping open animals and burning their flesh and then eating it, drinking the cow's milk? These things are extreme from a natural point of view. So rather than looking at the fruit diet as extreme, I would say the standard Western diet, or even the typical diet of most human beings, is pretty extreme. Grains, Imagine getting to a field of grains, and first of all, why, you know, the field probably wouldn't be there if it wasn't for agriculture and how, you know, these things. So we're already pretty extreme as compared to what is natural. Then how would you gather, how would you harvest all those grains? And then how would you eat it? If not, you have to go through this long refining process until finally you can cook the grains and then you'll eat them. But they don't have any taste, so you have to add sauces and salt and stimulants. You know, this is extreme. This is extreme from a natural point of view. So I beg you to reconsider your idea, basically, that a fruit diet is extreme, and rather just look at it as perfectly normal from a natural point of view. Every single animal on the planet eats a diet of raw foods as they appear in nature. Their biological adaptation is what dictates what they will eat and what they will not eat. Whatever they're able to gather, eat, and whatever attracts them in its natural state, and whatever they can eat without processing, well, that's what they eat. It's only we humans that have found all these tools and ways to manipulate our environment so that it suits our needs. And this puts us out on a little bit of a slippery slope, if you will, where it's difficult to distinguish what is okay and what is not, because of course at one end of the spectrum you have hardcore drugs and these kind of really bad foods, and then on the other end you have sort of foods that are not that bad but maybe not ideal either. And where do you draw the line? Well, that's very difficult. Whereas when you eliminate all of this and you just focus on what can I eat in its raw natural state, well, then you've got fruit. Maybe there's a gray area, you know, some nuts, some seeds, some greens maybe. There are various things that are sort of in the gray area, but the big thing is fruit. Fruit is really the main food for humans if you look at it from a biological adaptation point of view. So nothing extreme about the fruit diet. I'd rather eat my fruit and be calm and steady and peaceful and satisfied rather than ripping into animals, tearing out intestines, blood and gore, drinking milk from cow's tits and digging in the ground for roots and running around in fields trying to gather enough grains so I can have a meal. Fruit is just easy, simple, fast food, satisfies our needs, supplies us with the nutrients we need to be healthy. It's nothing extreme about the fruit diet. Quite on the contrary, it's the most conservative, ancient diet for our species as you can come up with, really. So hope that inspired you to check out more about the fruit-based diet, or maybe give it a try if you haven't done so already, of course. You can learn more about it on our website, sweetnaturalliving.com, where we have a free e-booklet about how to get started with the raw vegan diet. Until next time, I hope you're having an awesome day. See you later.